4radio.com.
Terrestrial Silver was founded in 1997. Our goal today remains the same as it was back then, to provide you, our customer, with a quality custom buckle at an affordable price. From 1 to 100, our buckles are all made one at a time by hand. Our only limit is your imagination. Give us a call today at 800-550-7535 and let us help you design your next trophy buckle. That's Terrestrial Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at terrestrialsilver.com. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls.
Rebecca Lawler Limited is the culmination of a lifelong dream for philanthropist and designer Rebecca Lawler. She designed her patented, unique glass heart, which is handcrafted by glass artists in Virginia. Placed in the center is a brilliant gem. The heart can be worn with the Rebecca Lawler Limited signature ribbon or an awareness ribbon of choice. To join the mission of the Hearts of Hope Foundation and add a Rebecca Lawler signature heart to your own personal style, go to RebeccaLawlerLimited.com. That's RebeccaLawler Limited.com.
American Hat Company is known throughout the world as the hat preferred by rodeo champions, ranchers, everyday cowboys, cowgirls, and rodeo fans. From the arena to the boardroom, no one does it better. Handmade in Bowie, Texas, American hats are made with tradition in the old-fashioned way. From the finest in felts to the best in straws, there is an American hat for every occasion. The CB Cowgirls are proud to have our ambassadors wearing the #1 hat in the world. Thank you, American Hat. Find your own American hat at your favorite retailer. American Hats, handcrafted since 1915.
She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy relationships. Growing up in a violent home is one of the most terrifying and traumatic experiences a child can go through. Let's work together to help those afflicted to stand and know they're not alone. Find out more at manupcrusade.com. Take a stand and break the cycle of domestic violence.
This is 4Radio, a media platform used to elevate voices and empower dreams.
All right, rodeo fans, it's time for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. Introducing your host, Becky Christensen, and co-host Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Presented to you by Boyd Gaming. Hey, let's ride.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to our weekly broadcast of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. This is your host, Becky Christensen Mapston. I just say thank you so much if you're tuning into our weekly broadcast and enjoying all that we are here sharing with you. I want to say thank you, of course, to all of our sponsors and appreciate everything that you do. I'm excited we have all of our girls with us tonight, so I want to quickly bring on to our show my co-host, Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Vicki, how are you this evening?
Great, Becky. Good evening, everyone.
And then I also want to bring to the show our beautiful guest co-host as well, Bobbi Jeen Olson. Bobbi Jeen Olson, are you there?
I am there. Hello, my beautiful and favorite ladies. I'm so super excited to be on the show with you guys this evening.
Well, we are happy to have you, and I am just excited to have all of us here gathered together, and it just happens to be our month-end wrap-up show. We're going to talk about all kinds of things that have been happening over the last month, couple weeks, and really look forward to April and spring and all things that are coming up upon us. So I just want to start first with, I'm going to go to Bobbi Jeen. Bobbi Jeen, for those of you who are maybe just tuning in for the first time, she is our Ms. U.S. Ambassador for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. So she is our representation out in the marketplace. She's very active in the Western world. Aunt Vicki and I can't be everywhere all the time, so Bobbi Jeen steps in and fills those gaps for us and really promotes everything that our brand represents, and that's just our heritage, our roots, and just the Western way. So, Bobbi Jeen, what have you been up to?
Well, it's been an exciting month of killing people and blowing up cars and shooting people, and yeah, it's been that kind of month for me.
Has to be a movie, Bobbi Jeen. We don't have enough bail money.
Yeah, and as I just stated, she is our representation. So, I know Aunt Vicki goes and shoots squirrels, but we're not really out shooting anyone.
Well, it makes me giggle so much because you guys personally know me and know my real personality. But I've been typecast, and I'm always a bad guy. I have either been thrown in jail, I've hung people, I've shot people, I've stabbed people. Yeah, and I can't figure out why that is, but it's so much fun to be bad once in a while.
That's because, Bobbi Jeen, you're such an angel in real life. So all of these movie parts and commercial parts and everything that you get, they know you're a real angel.
Well, I don't know that. It's like, no, she can't be a nice, sweet mom. She's going to kill somebody over here. But I get to learn from some of the most amazing people, just like last week. You know, we actually, I ran up to a running police car because the police officer had been stabbed. I jump in the car, getting ready to put it in reverse. The killer bashes through the window, glass, blood, everything everywhere. I freak out, I scream, I see handcuffs, I handcuff his arm, handcuff it to the steering wheel. I jump out, and lo and behold, there's just a gas can there, so I decide to pour gas all over it. I get to light the car on fire, and I throw it in reverse, and it takes off and blows up, and yeah.
You know, it makes my week, Becky, sound just really mundane.
You guys have to giggle with me because you know me, right? Can you picture me doing this?
You're in character. You're in character. But I thought, Bobbi Jeen, when does your filming start for this other character? I thought that was a little bit different from the ones that you have had in the past.
So with The Standard, it is a Christian-based film that will be out on PureFlix. And I mean, for the first time in my life, I actually have a kind, caring, good soul. I don't, even though there's guns in the film, I don't get to shoot anybody in this one. So this will be an adventure for me.
I just don't know how you are able to accomplish all you do, but kudos to you because you keep yourself busy. And she's been great, and Vicki and Maria, you all have been great just keeping me accountable in everything that I'm doing and all my prep. So, Bobbi Jeen, thank you. And then, Vicki, I know you have been crazy busy with the buckle business and springtime, and I know it's getting real busy with the rodeo run, but as our listeners know, we did take a I guess you would say a moment, but it was really a night that we went silent in just honor of those that we have lost in this last few months in the Western world, and how personal that is to all of us because we all had been touched by these gentlemen in some way or another. Some were family, some were friends, some felt like family because they were such close friends. So Aunt Vicki had the opportunity to represent our family in our show and go up to the memorial service for Harry Vold. So tell us a little bit about that whole experience for that legend of rodeo.
Absolutely, Becky. I found myself on a plane leaving Austin, Texas, flying to Denver, rented a car and drove down to Colorado Springs and attended Harry Vold's memorial service there at the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. And, of course, the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame holds memories for all of us involved with rodeo and the Western way of life. And it was a beautiful service. Boyd Pohamus was there, and he did the service. They honored Harry Vold, a lifelong family friend, much more than just rodeo family. Loved that man so deeply. He was inspirational to the CB family many years ago and has always remained that way. But it was really a gathering, Becky and Bobbi, of a lot of rodeo legends. I felt very fortunate. I sat and visited with none other than Cotton Rosser and Deb Copenhaver, both icons, and just listening to Harry's service and seeing the grace and dignity of his beautiful family. It just made me realize how important it is that we strive to keep our Western heritage and our roots alive. It was a beautiful service. I flew on the red eye home Monday night and hit Llano, Texas, and Trust Rio Silver, and on to new adventures the rest of the week. But it was a beautiful service for an awesome man.
Well, and Vicki, I just, as we are talking, I mean, you made sure and took us on the adventures as you went there and posted pictures, and it really made all of us that weren't able to be there feel like part of the family. So thank you for taking the time to do that.
Well, Bobbi, thank you. It was an honor to be there, and I told Karen Vold, who I love dearly. I mean, it takes me back to, rodeoing. Many years ago, we traveled to Lewiston, and we would be trick riding at it was Ellensburg, at the Ellensburg Rodeo, and couldn't wait to see Karen Vold because she was a trick rider. And she always worked with us girls, and we got to see Harry and Doug and Wayne and all the rest of the Vold family. And so it was truly an honor, Bobbi Jeen, to be there and to represent our rodeo family. Honored to do it.
And Vicki, this is Maria. I'm sorry, Bobbi Jeen. I just want to share. I only met this man once, and I was so affected by his passing, and I didn't know why, except to really express to your listeners that the Western way of life is just one huge family. And if there are listeners out there that are in need of a family, just get in touch with Aunt Vicki or Bobbi Jeen or Becky, and it really just throws you into a new level of family. And really just thinking about that man, because it was just, you knew that in his presence there was something special about him.
Well, and Maria, amen to what you say. And the service touched each and everyone's heart, because they talked about Harry in several different areas. They talked about Harry Vold the stockman. Harry Vold, he was he loved his bucking horses. He loved his ranch, his way of life. And, they talked about that. They talked about Harry Vold, the diplomat. They talked about Harry Vold, the father. And they talked about Harry Vold, the Christian. And it was an amazing service. Just so honored to be there.
Well, and for those of us who were not able to be there, Wrangler Network did a great job of streaming it. And so I know that for me, it was, and Maria, it was our opportunity to watch from where we were at. And the one thing that really just stuck out in my mind is, and a lot of those that were there wouldn't know this, but he had such a presence of fellow cowboys and cowgirls, friends and family there. And no matter which angle the camera was at, you could see it was just a full house. But on the flip side to that, if you were on the streaming video, there was another 500 people watching the service from live streaming. Yeah. So that tells you the caliber of man that he was, and the legacy he truly is leaving. And I love some of the clips that they showed of him and the things that he said. I wrote them down. I don't have them right now, but, he said he taught, and I know Grandpa and all them were the same way, but, he talked about how a handshake was better than a contract. And that one just really hit me, because that is so not present today. And just the way things were so good and right and pure. And I just hope somehow by their lives we're able to bring some of that back into our families and our culture and all the things that we share in this generation, because it's without being said that it's lacking, and they would be heat to bring it back, because it blessed these generations coming, being born and being raised and going forward. So that's just my 2 cents on that whole deal.
Well, and Becky, what really struck me was the importance of writing down the history, of preserving the history, of connecting the generations, and it just really brought a renewed meaning to what our hearts and what we truly want to do here on She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. Because, and there are others out there that strive for the same end results that we do. And we have to keep working. We have to keep trying. We have to keep pushing. And we have to keep promoting, because the younger generation deserves to know, and the older generation deserves to be recognized. It was something else.
Amen to that. And with that, I think that's a perfect segue into, we're going to take a quick commercial break, station identification. When we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more about what Aunt Vicki's been up to. So stay tuned with She's Gone Country, the CB Cowgirls. We'll be right back.
4radio.com.
All of us here at Terrestrial Silver are proud to offer a complete award lineup, from saddles, tack, and all in between. Terrestrials is your one-stop shop. Give the shop a call today to discuss your association award needs with one of our family design staff. And don't forget to shop online with us for that special gift. Our new online store features beautiful jewelry, tees, caps, and much more. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. That's Terrestrial Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at terrestrialsilver.com.
Abraham, David, John the Baptist, and Jesus were all seeking a wilderness experience when they would flee to the desert. Join a Higher Ascent for a one-day or multi-day wilderness experience where we seek God in the stillness. Visit us at higherascent.com.
In today's busy world, it's nice to know that help is just a moment away. Andrea at Rodeo Spot Marketing is your one-stop shop. Full-service web and graphic design service, along with photo projects, printing services, marketing, and promotional. Let their staff take the stress off you and put a smile on your face. Always creative, always competitive priced, always working for you. That's Rodeo Spot Marketing. Find them at rodeospot.com. Tell Andrea the CB Cowgirls sent you. She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy
4radio.com.
Well, welcome back to She's Gone Country with CB Cowgirls. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but we had a little glitch in our commercials and station identification, but we should be okay. I just want to say thank you for tuning in tonight, and say we appreciate you, our listeners, who continually come back week after week to hear the great stories that we really strive to bring to our listeners about the history, the legacy, and the roots of the Western world. That is our heart, that is our passion, and that is why we do what we do. So thank you so much. Before the commercial break, we were visiting with Bobbi Jeen and Vicki. It is our Vicki Christensen O'Shields. It is our wrap-up show, so we like to take the last Monday of the month and just kind of catch up with everything that has been happening in our world and in the Western world, and really reflect and share with our listeners the fun happenings, because a lot of you don't always know what's going on behind the scenes, and you may miss some of our posts. But we are here busy being active and productive in the Western world, bringing all the fun things to you that we do on all of our social media outlets. So before the break, Aunt Vicki was talking about the beautiful memorial service of Harry Vold and the opportunity she got to go up there and partake in that and really honor Harry Vold's life. But Aunt Vicki, you also just returned from another trip that I wanted to share with our listeners. So tell our listeners where you were. You were there a couple times over the course of March, because it's a pretty extended stay. It's like a extended vacation when you go. So share with our listeners a little bit what you've been up to.
Okay, Becky, and absolutely it is an extended stay, and of course that's the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and we kicked off in Houston on March 7th for opening night, and traveled back and forth, and once I got back from Colorado Springs, Friday, Bud and I left again and went down for the closing weekend, and oh my gosh, I don't know how much our listeners know about Rodeo Houston or the Livestock Show, but it is a phenomenal event, and they closed the 2017 season, Becky and Bobbi Jeen and Maria, with over 2.6 million. I mean, that is an attendance record.
Wow. Whew. Holy moly. That's a whole lot of people.
It's a whole lot of people. It definitely is. And that record alone with attendance, what goes on behind the scenes and the stories behind the stories, I mean, there are over 33,000 plus volunteers, and they have a waiting list. I mean, the city of Houston comes alive with cowboy hats, boots, and I mean, they are ready to rodeo for almost an entire month.
Wow, I can't even possibly fathom that many volunteers.
But what a wonderful way to represent the Western lifestyle. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Bobbi Jeen. And, of course, Houston's been doing it in style for many, many years. The original Astrodome, where Rodeo Houston was for many years, is still standing there. They've moved the rodeo now, of course, to NRG Stadium, which is a beautiful new stadium. But it sits there in the Astrodome in the shadows and kind of connects back, the roots, from days gone by. But think of this, ladies, each and every champion at Rodeo Houston received $50,000 check. I mean, unbelievable.
It amazes me the money that our cowboys can earn nowadays. It's really a testament to the paths that were paved by so many before them. And this generation is getting to reap the benefits of all the blazed trails. And the cowboy way of life and the Western way of life is, we're all inclusive, we're all family, and we're here to lift each other up and empower them. And I really think it's a great testament to the history of the sport of rodeo.
Well, and Becky, here's another interesting little story behind the story, and that was Bud and I were honored to have as our guests that final Saturday for Rodeo Houston. I mean, it went on Sunday, but Saturday is when the actual rodeo champions were crowned. We had John and Francie Macbeth. And John Macbeth, and don't quote me, I believe John won world champion saddle bronc rider in 1974. And he had rode at Rodeo Houston, many different times, and he won Rodeo Houston. And when he won Rodeo Houston, that his earnings were $3,800, if I'm not misquoting. So it was really, it was fun to listen to his stories and just to sit there beside him. And everyone that's paved the way for rodeo has to just marvel at what it's become. I mean, it's empowering.
Yes. And speaking of empowering, I wanted to just touch briefly because I just saw this in the news, and for those of you maybe who haven't seen the article, one of those legendary cowboys that have empowered the sport of rodeo so much, and I think it's fun because he's friends of our family and friends of rodeo, and he's from up here in the Northwest, and that is, it looks like Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame cowboy Larry Mahan is just about to receive another honor, if you will. It looks like, if you don't know Larry Mahan, which if you're in anything involved in rodeo, you know the name. If you're not involved with rodeo and you're listening, he's an 8-time world champion, and he was selected as the Outstanding American Awardee from the state of Oregon by the Oregon chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. So on a side note of rodeo and all of Larry's accolades, we want to just say, congratulations, Larry. I mean, just another recognition for the athleticism and the cowboy and the athlete that you were growing up. He was raised, I guess, it looks like in Redmond and Salem. And, of course, Aunt Vicki, I know you know Larry pretty personally, but I thought that was pretty great. So congratulations, Larry.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Larry Mahan. I mean, he's the one and only, and all-around champion that stepped out and just really paved the way for, all of these great cowboys that have followed in his footsteps. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes. Well, and so, we're about, go ahead, Bobbi Jeen.
Oh, I just wanted to say one more little thing real quick, that this past weekend was our Pinell County Fair for all the 4-H kids, and it was a huge event of great success for all of the kids that worked so hard to compete in showing their livestock, taking care of them, the shooting, the cooking, all the different aspects that go along with the Pinell County or the county fairs, promoting the Western lifestyle, all of that goes hand in hand. But I just had to brag on Tres Rios Silver and our beautiful Aunt Vicki, we had the honor of giving over a dozen Tres Rios Silver buckles to some very deserving kids this weekend.
Aww.
So, thank you so
Thank you, Bobbi Jeen. I mean, our pleasure. And again, the youth, and the future of our sport and our Western way of life is where it is all at. And there's so many county fairs and state fairs and huge big productions. They all contribute to support our youth, and that is our future and our hope. So thanks, Bobbi Jeen. We're proud to be part of it.
You should have seen the kiddos with the big smiles as they were walking around, so proud with their new belt buckles. So thank you.
It's amazing what a belt buckle will do.
Oh,
it just lifts that self-esteem, that pride. Kids just have a whole different presence about them. I love watching them when they get new buckles.
I know there was a time that I was roping quite a bit, and the thing I wanted this sounds so silly, but it didn't matter about the prize money. I wanted the prizes. I wanted the buckle and the saddle and
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what, ladies, going back to the Houston Livestock Show, it's like the creme de la creme to livestock shows, and so many youngsters participate and show. And, I have to hand it, even though they have some big-name stars there after the rodeo each night, here's kudos to Zach Brown, because he paid $330,000 for the reserve grand champion steer at the livestock show.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? And the champion went for $345,000. So, there's so many kids, but it all starts locally. It starts with what you and I can do to help contribute, to help these kids, in their walk in the Western world.
Yes, ma'am, you are correct. And speaking of the Western world and all things Western, just to kind of move into the Northwest, I just wanted to really quick, before we close out that show and the broadcast, our own Columbia River Circuit, they do so much for so many people, and they raise funds for the Just in Crisis Fund every year at the Circuit Finals, and they do everything they can to contribute to the sport of rodeo and youth, and I have to just brag on them a little bit and tell them thank you, because they have gotten behind me and my journey to Mrs. Washington America, and they are my sponsor for that journey. So thank you to Rowdy and to everybody, Debbie, Edie, for just the family support that is so prevalent in the sport of rodeo, especially up here in the Northwest where we grew up. They're just wonderful people. And speaking of, it looks like not this weekend, but the weekend after, rodeo season kicks off up here in the Northwest. The Redmond Rodeo, which last year was the ERA Rodeo, and with all the changes with the ERA and the revamping and the to be determined, Redmond decided to return to having their regular rodeo. So they're going to have the High Desert Stampede March 31st and April 1st. So that's going to be a big event down in Redmond, and I'm sure that's going to pack the house. So if you're up in that area, be sure you get some tickets and go over to that one and check that rodeo out. So, go ahead, Aunt Vicki.
Now, Vicki, I was just going to say, on a personal note, that was, I had the opportunity to visit with the 2017 Miss Rodeo Oregon, Kayla Vincent. Beautiful, beautiful young woman. Enjoyed our talk so much. And she was in Houston, and she was working with Catherine Merritt, and they were setting the pivots for the grand entry for Harry Vold and for Binion Survey and everyone. And so, anyway, fun to run into Miss Rodeo Oregon in Houston, Texas. Go figure. And she said she was headed back north to the High Desert Stampede.
And we loved your interview with her, too.
Oh, thank you, Bobbi Jeen.
Yes, and Vicki does a great job doing all that coverage. I loved her interview with the little gal and the little shoe shine gal and visiting with her, because I think it's so, she just hit on so many different avenues within the rodeo culture. Gosh, I could keep talking, because now all these other things are popping into my mind about other things that you highlighted down there. And I know we can go over real quick. another amazing thing about the sport of rodeo, and in particular Houston, when you visited with the lady that you met that's from the International Committee, and how many countries come to the Houston Rodeo, people from different countries, that amazed me.
Totally unreal, Becky, and it was so nice of Peggy Jobs to give me a few minutes for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls, and a chance to visit with her and share her story. But Rodeo Houston and the Livestock Show, they hosted this year alone 58 foreign countries. That's visitors from 58 foreign countries. Now, isn't that just unreal? And they fed them every day in the international room. They hosted a women's fashion show. They hosted them on visits to area ranches, helped them buy tack, whatever they were looking for. So, it takes the whole combined effort, from all of us, from the smallest rodeo, smallest livestock show, because all of our efforts pour in together, and through that work together, great things happen and flow from that. And, Becky, before we get off of this, because I know we're going to run over, but I know that I can speak for Bobbi Jeen and Maria, and how proud we are and how blessed we are, Becky, that you're taking your platform to so many people that know nothing about our way of life. So God bless you, Becky. We love you, and best wishes on your endeavors for Mrs. Washington.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support. And, it's really just about avenues of really promoting what we love so much. And I think that interview with Peggy is a testament to how alive and well the spirit of the American cowboy is throughout the world. But there's still communities and pockets of communities that have no idea what that culture is all about and how beneficial that culture is if it's weaved into the I don't want to say cracks, but in and out of their own life. So I'm excited to just expose what we're doing and expose the Western world to those that maybe don't know, and see where it goes. And Lord willing, maybe I'll come back with the crown that says Mrs. Washington, and we'll have something to talk about come May 21st. I will. Bobbi Jeen needs to be a pageant coach. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh no. I just believe in you. That's what it is.
Well, and there's 28 great ladies competing, and this is the 25th anniversary for them, and Pamela does a fabulous job with her pageant. It's the longest standing pageant, I think, as a married pageant in the state of Washington. So I'm pretty proud of her, and I'm pretty proud of the fact that for Washington State, back-to-back, 2016, we had our first Miss Rodeo America, and in 2017, we had our first Mrs. America, both from Washington, both from Eastern Washington, both within an hour of each other between Spokane and Moses Lake. So woo-hoo, Eastern Washington. So I'm pretty proud of that. And on one more note, as we talk about different things, let's put a woo-hoo and a clapping of the hands together for our basketball teams. We got Oregon, University of Oregon, we got our Ducks, and we got Gonzaga, our Bulldogs, going to the Final Four in the NCAA. So it cannot get much better than that.
I'm totally confused as to who to root for. I have to tell you. It's like putting them in a gunny sack and shaking them up and turning it upside down.
Oh, goodness. Well, yay, hey, Northwest. I'm a pretty proud basketball fan right now, even though I haven't been able to see any of them at this point, but I'm hoping to make the Final Four on Friday. So, ladies, we have taken up the half hour. We have shared with our listeners all that we've been up to. We got a great spring coming up. Boyd Gaming has come on and backed us up for year number 2. So we are in Group W. So we will be returning to Las Vegas for year number 4 on stage, 5 down there. Year number 2 with Boyd Gaming. So thank you to Boyd Gaming. Thank you to Group W. Anything you ladies want to say? I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to turn over to Bobbi Jeen and let Bobbi Jeen turn over to Aunt Vicki, and we'll close it out. So to our listeners, we'll see you next week. Go ahead, Bobbi Jeen.
Good night. Just want to say, I say this all of the time, but I want to thank Maria and Vicki, Becky, for the absolute honor of being part of the family. And when Maria talked about the Western life and how it brings everybody in on a family, that's what you guys have done for me. You have brought me into this family that I love more than anything. And I want to thank everybody that is following along with us, listening to us, following us on Facebook, and let you guys know that it really means so much that you guys are helping, riding alongside us as we promote the Western lifestyle. I want to say good night, and Aunt Vicki, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Bobbi Jeen. And again, I must say, for everything that you talked about, Bobbi Jeen, you are such a blessing to all of us, and we are so very thankful to our Lord above. And, listeners, another lady that we're so very thankful for, and that is Miss Crystal Lyons from Mason, Texas. And we're just going to close out our program tonight with a little cowgirl logic. Good night, everyone. God bless.
I'm Crystal Lyons, and few things scare me more than snakes. Nothing can make you wet your pants any quicker than grabbing up a bale of hay and a snake's head is sticking out. I hate that. But more than anything, I hate a snake in the house. Creeps me out. Well, one time while walking by the bathroom, I heard something and looked just in time to see this huge chicken snake climbing up the log wall, and he fell off the log into the tub, and there was this sickening thud sound that sent uncontrollable shivers up my spine and a scream out my mouth. Then in horror I watched as his head moved around the top rim of the tub and then slithered out of sight. Well, about a month later, I was on the phone, and I noticed my cat intently looking at something, so I stuck my head around the corner to see what she was looking at. It was that chicken snake crawling through the kitchen. Determined not to let him get away this time, I yelled, "He's back!" and threw down the phone, grabbed the .22 pistol, and started shooting. As he was crawling from room to room, I would scream, jump up on top of the furniture, and fire more rounds. Never dawned on me what this was doing to the person on the other end of the phone. She didn't know whether to call the police or keep listening. Poor lady, I could have given her a heart attack. I emptied the gun before thinking about my friend. When it all settled down, we had a good laugh out of it, and everybody in that neck of the woods heard about it and made comments like, "Heard you shot up your house." Well, it was Franklin D. Roosevelt who said all we have to fear is fear itself. He was right, The fact that we fear is more harmful to us than what we fear. Well, after it was all over, I survived. My neighbors survived. The snake survived also. This is Crystal Lyons, Cowgirl Logic. For more, you can go to cowgirllogic.net.
Tres Rios Silver was founded in 1997. Our goal today remains the same as it was back then, to provide you, our customer, with a quality custom buckle at an affordable price. From 1 to 100, our buckles are all made one at a time by hand. Our only limit is your imagination. Give us a call today at 800-550-7535 and let us help you design your next trophy buckle. That's Tres Rios Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at TresRiosSilver.com. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls.
Rebecca Lawler Limited is the culmination of a lifelong dream for philanthropist and designer Rebecca Lawler. She designed her patented, unique glass heart, which is handcrafted by glass artists in Virginia. Placed in the center is a brilliant gem. The heart can be worn with the Rebecca Lawler Limited signature ribbon or an awareness ribbon of choice. To join the mission of the Hearts of Hope Foundation and add a Rebecca Lawler signature heart to your own personal style, go to RebeccaLawlerLimited.com. That's RebeccaLawlor Limited.com.
4radio.com